Hello, hello. This is Pastor Jay, and I'm just come on for a minute. I was thinking about something as I was studying, and what came to my mind is that a lot of times, due to the climate that we're in right now, and maybe it's been building up all of our life, that we want to circumvent the process of everything and anything that we go through. We want to circumvent the process. We want to microwave ourselves into the position that we believe we need to be in. We're always looking for the shortcut versus the long way, not understanding that before we get to the oasis of our life, we must go through the backside of the desert. And the backside of the desert, those times when you are on the backside of things, where you can't see if you're going to make it or not, where you have to trust in God and continue to practice certain disciplines, these are the times that which you can grow from. So when you get to the oasis, you can appreciate it. Think about this. I haven't heard anybody, not me, now I'm not saying it's not possible, that they've fallen head over heels for a microwave meal. I don't care who makes it. But it's something about that home cooked meal from mother or uncle or cousin or father, that time that they take to make that meal, that it sticks in your heart and sticks in your mind. And you can't wait till the next time that you have a family gathering to where you can eat the meal. And even when you can't get together, you will call them up and ask them to give you the recipe that takes the time to do the meal. And have you ever gotten a recipe and figured that due to your anxiousness and your wanting to circumvent the process, that you tried to shortcut some things? I'm talking to somebody. I have. And it really just don't turn out the way that it does that when mama cook it or when the person cooks it. It just don't turn out. It's edible, it's acceptable, but it's nothing to write home about. So what you do is you go back and start all over again. But now that you got to start all over again, you got to spend more resources because you wasn't willing to follow the process. I'll give you another example. When I used to do real estate and my brother used to do contracting work, oftentimes I wouldn't hire him because he was a little bit more expensive. And on some things, I had to learn my lesson. It was better to pay him and get it done right than to pay somebody else and then have him come back to fix it because it would cost me more to fix it once it didn't work the way I thought it would with somebody else than it would have just to hire him. More switches, more drywall, more wood, more everything. And he has to tear out now, and now it's going to cost me more than it originally did because I wanted to circumvent the process. Some of you have great ambitions and you want to do good things in life, and that's a great thing. And you spend more time paying people to tell you how to circumvent the process. That's basically what the gurus tell you. They'll tell you that they figured out the shortcut, the secret, the mantra, the way to get what you got, and you'll find out they don't even have half what you have already. They just got this story-eyed look for you. And what you do is spend a lot of time being told a simple thing: get up, get going, and handle your business. Wake up early like successful people do. Go to bed early, get your sleep. But when it's time to be on and do what you need to do for that day. Don't waste your time procrastinating. Be committed, accountable, and responsible in every aspect of your life, and you'll find yourself being satisfied and successful at the level that you have been called to be. Everybody can't be number one. Don't circumvent the process, though. The process is to, yeah, go for it on the backside of the desert. Do what you need to do, practice the disciplines, learn the things you need to do and go forward, but realize you can't circumvent the process by going to another person and they're telling you you don't need to do what you've been doing because you haven't had any results from it. But what you need to do is I tell you to do, and write it down on a piece of paper 100 times, 1,000 times, as if writing it 1,000 times is going to make it happen. This is what I want to submit to you. Instead of you writing it down 1,000 times, and that takes time, and let's say that takes 25 minutes to write it 1,000 times a day. That 25 minutes can be used to doing what you need to do to get where you need to go. Write it down once, put it on your heart. God say, I've written my law and my love on your heart. You don't need to necessarily write it down and visualize it. That's another problem. We want to visualize and see versus getting out and do. God said he blessed the doers of his word. Yeah, you need to hear it. And there's nothing wrong with motivation in hearing it. But to continue to pay for the same thing in a different word, in a different word, a different language from a different person that looks a little different than the next person you spent thousands of dollars to hear it from is a waste of your time, because that money that you could use to pay 4 or 5 people to tell you to get up and go and be about your business, the thousands of dollars that you would spend on them, you could just go with the process and grind at your level and work your way through and learn from your mistakes. Quit trying to avoid making a mistake. If you're going to be successful, anybody will tell you this. If you're going to be successful, you're going to make a lot of mistakes and have a lot of failures, but they are not meant to hold you back. They are meant to teach you. That's why it's called the backside of the desert. Moses went from the palace to the backside of the desert. Why? To prepare him for God and to prepare for the task of going back and get God's people. He could have only learned that on the backside of the desert. And guess what? He never made it to the promised land, the oasis. He was mission oriented, mission focused, and never actually made it to where he thought he was going to be. At some point, you had to be content in your journey and realize that some things are time dated, that you can't be everything that you should have been when you were younger. You just chalk that up to the lesson. That's the backside of the desert. Now you can go forward where you are in life and do some great things still. You're here because you're on assignment. You're here because somebody else needs to get something from you. You're here because you're valuable to God. You're here because God graciously, lovingly, mercifully wants you to be here for his purpose, his glory, your good, and to be great for somebody else, to show them all of that. Excuse me. So I want you to think about that as you go forward in your day, the rest of your week. Don't circumvent the purpose. Don't circumvent the process. You got to go on the backside of the desert before you get to the oasis. This is Pastor Jay of Walk in Truth Radio Network. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and at peace. And don't forget, please don't circumvent the process. Follow it, go through it, learn from it, appreciate it, enjoy it, and you'll find yourself when you get to the oasis, you'll be thinking about the journey. Please hit that like button for me. Subscribe. Go over to YouTube and subscribe, or subscribe and follow me on Facebook at the Walk in Truth Radio Network page, or the Walk in Truth Christian Fellowship page, or even a few slots left for some few friends. Go and befriend me, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.